I want to ask you a question. Who's coaching you? Who's asking you the tough questions? Who's telling you, man, you're the common denominator to all of your issues and challenges? Who's telling you, man, all day long, you become the magnetic pulse that attracts to you both good and bad? I want to be your life coach. I want to be the one that cheers you on to the finish line. I want to be the one that you ask the tough questions. And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers, but that means that you have a partner, someone who believes in you, not the you see right now, but the you can't imagine, the you that you are to become, the you were destined to be. I always say we both need the positive and the negative. It's not enough to have the knowledge of the matter, but we must have the wisdom as well. For wisdom settles it. And that's what I want to offer you as you join me on the Coach's Corner. I want to offer you the wisdom of the matter. Maybe it might be relationships, talking about our campaigns for more, for life, the dark room of our subconscious, our spiritual journey. Whatever it is, I want to be there to encourage you, to build you, to challenge you, to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm qualified to do this. Why? Because I'm you.
That's right, and welcome to another edition of the Coach's Corner right here on SIBN Radio. My name is Marcus Salat, and assuredly as I approach the microphone, I have my own set of personal and professional issues, but I trust that I can also bring to the table the significance of the wisdoms that I have gathered along the path, along the journey, and maybe that will give me a chance to earn the right to speak into your life. Once again, we're here and trust that you are telling a friend about what we're doing. Today we're going to be discussing, so everything in your life is going wrong, what now? And I would be remiss if I did not say thank you to all of those that are supporting me worldwide, and I'm looking for greater support as I move forward in doing other things that are not centered on myself and what I have to say, but giving other people a platform and a voice. And if you want to know more about what we're doing, please visit www.WeSupportSelectUSATV.com and join free. It is now open to the public. Our media club is open to the public. So you're able now to go there, sign up free of charge for a limited time. Okay? So if you want to be a part of what we're doing, visit the website www.WeSupportSelectUSATV.com. So let's get to work. Okay, let's get to work. Everything seems to be going, let me back up. So everything is going wrong. What now? We've thought that because of the avalanche, the back-to-back, the boomerang type situations that have occurred, the domino effect that has occurred or is occurring. And so we'll say out of our mouths, man, everything's going wrong. When it rains, it pours. You know, things of that nature. Thanks. Thank you, sir. And the question that I want to ask you before we get into that is that a truly honest, integral statement? Everything going wrong? Is that a true statement right now before we say what now? I was thinking about my own problem I had with something, and I said, okay, I remember how I began to make some stride. I said, the first thing let me do is calm down. When you're not calm, I can promise you things look a lot worse than when you are. When you're not at peace, things can look a lot worse when you're not at peace. When you don't have joy, things look a lot worse when you don't have any kind of joy of anything, for anyone, about anything. No joy, no peace. You see what I'm saying? So it's up to us. And I was thinking about this situation. I said, okay, I don't need to panic, because as soon as we panic, perception is lost. As soon as we panic, perception is lost. And we begin to see the avalanche of negativity. Now, negativity has its place, and I'm not one of those guys, one of those coaches that say, keep it all positive. I'm not like that. Because you're going to need the negative things to make you sharp. You're going to need strength in places where you thought you were weak, and you're going to find weakness where you thought you were strong. So come on, I need some help right there. But the bottom line is, as soon as you panic, it's one thing if you're in a relationship, the person may step to you, your mate steps to you and says, hey, we need to have a conversation. There's a little bit too much of this or too much of that, and we're going to need to do this, and we're going to need to do that. And all of a sudden you're in panic mode. You go to your job, and they pull you into the office, and we need to have a conversation. We need to have a conference at the school. And on and on and on. And then, if you're not careful, once you panic emotionally and internally, nobody else sees your panic yet, but you begin to panic. Now, for some of y'all, everybody sees panic coming, okay? You start to sweating and everything. You be like, okay, now what you going you know what I'm saying? Your language changes, your monotone, you know what I'm saying? But once we panic, it's over. It's over for that moment. You've lost that moment to the fear of whatever trepidation you could imagine. Even though even then the trepidation never happens, the tragedy never happens. It's just a lot of words and a lot of movement and a lot of voices, people talking and people saying this happened and that happened. Once you panic, I promise you won't see the light of day for that moment. I promise you that. You have to slow yourself down internally. You have to say, okay, what am I not doing correctly here? What could I do better? What could I do different? How could I appreciate this moment and learn from it? Because disrespect and dishonor for the moments when you're not doing as well is just as bad as being cocky when you are doing well. Because you have to honor your weakness for your strengths to rise and not necessarily celebrate strengths every time. Because after a while, strength becomes lies because you're borrowing from the strength to cover the areas where you're weak. Celebrate both. Celebrate the times when you messed up by being introspective and asking yourself the tough questions. What could I do differently? How did I get off track? Okay, I need to do this. I need to reprioritize. I need to reshape this. I need to recycle this. I need to look at this differently. Let me look at this from another curve, from another angle. Because I promise you, once you panic for that moment, all will be lost. Your worst fears in that moment now. You can catch yourself before you wreck yourself, but in that moment, fear wins out. In that moment, panic wins out. In that moment, chaos wins out. And there's going to be times when you have chaotic, moments. We're not denying that. You got some of these folk running around here, particularly folks in the church, that want to make it look like, okay, it's the devil. And maybe we'll get to that. I don't know if we'll get to that today or not, because that's a whole nother conscious or spiritual plane that we have presented that has been imbalanced. Because what I was thinking about when I titled the show, I was thinking about a movie that I had watched called Resident Evil. And I don't know if this would be appropriate for this show, but I wanted to talk about, what do you do when there's evil in the house? When there's evil in the house. But I didn't really think that you were going to be quite ready for that one. So I said, let me take a step back and talk about the end result of what we talk about when things are going wrong. We'd be like, you notice I said that was my ebonics for those educators out there. We'd be like, what up? No, but, I really wanted to talk about the Resident Evil, but I haven't gone in those types of conversations because some of y'all don't care to follow me. Y'all don't talk back. And so I'm not going to give those kinds of nuggets to a population that don't want to be reciprocal and integrate together and have a real conversation. Because there are times, let me just suffice to say this, there are times when there is nothing in control but evil. When evil is in control, it doesn't necessarily mean everything is what's the word I would be looking for? Evil, resident evil to me means there is a controlling force that will not let go unless someone breaks the force of the control. If you walk into a prison today, an American prison, particularly American prison, because American prisons are not like any other prisons. They're like hotels compared to the prisons around the world, compared to the concentration camps in places like Poland and over in Europe. So if you go into the American prison, it's bad enough that they have offenders committed and incarcerated. It's bad enough that the place looks like a hotel, but what you're going to smell and what you're going to hear and what you're going to sense is a resident evil. I look like I'm talking about it anyway, but I'm not going to go too deep into it because some of y'all can't handle that. I could talk about some stuff, okay? We worked in Ohio with a community reentry program. And to show you about, we're just talking about everything going wrong in Resident Evil, even though that's not the title. And a lot of our constituents came from the prison system where they were being paroled, and they went through our program because our program slowly and intermittently integrated them back into the community through allocation of funds, through allocation of work under our guidelines, through allocation of scholarships to return to college, community college, and things of that sort. But I remember the stench. I remember the attitude, the resident evil, the crossing over from being released from prison to come into our program, which was a freestanding program, but we worked with the federal government, state government, things of that nature. And I just remember the attitude, the central core that through manipulation and through some other things or through true efforts, but there was a controlling force. And like I said, I'm not going to get no more than that into it. But for those of you that are out there that have a lot of things going wrong, I must admit to you that you have to look at you. This entire show is premised on one philosophy. Actually, two philosophies. I talk to you about that all the time. It's premised on two major philosophies. And if you don't know those two philosophies by now, what are those two philosophies? All right, philosophy number one. I am the common denominator in every situation. I am the common, that's philosophy number one. Philosophy number two, play the game of life. Know the rules and play it well. Those are my two philosophies for this show. So if everything is going wrong, perceptually it may not be, but because you have panic, no peace, no joy, you know what I'm saying? No introspection, you can't be wrong, you're in denial, and you couple denial with pain, and you just got a mess. So if everything is or was going wrong, but the what now question would mean, first I need to look at me. because I'm looking at me centrally, because I have adopted the truth that I am the common denominator in every situation. And if it is to be, it is up to me. If it is to change, then I need to be rearranged. If it is to grow, then I need to know, not point the finger at somebody else and say, why don't you stop doing? Why don't you stop saying? Why don't you leave this alone? The control of others cannot be manipulated as much as the control of ourselves. And the central problem with resident evil is that we look outside the spectrum, but when we can't stop the control or the issue, then that also speaks to the weaknesses that are in us, that is in us, that aids and abets the evil that we speak. The evil that we recognize is aided and abetted by me, because I am the common denominator in every situation. I have 4 fingers pointed back at me, even though I am pointing at her, him, them, they. I am the key. It's up to me whether or not I recognize the divine intervening power, whether or not I understand the dynamics of faith, whether I understand and embrace unconditional love, whether I understand that joy and happiness, 2 separate entities, happiness based on happenings, joy based on principle. And I've chosen to be happy rather than joyful, so therefore I realize I've set myself up for continuous disappointment, and I can't blame anybody else but myself. I have to investigate me. I report on me. Everything is going wrong. What now? Take a second look at yourself. This is Coach. Be right back. The hardest thing there is to do is to break patterns. You know what I started the title of the show today? This is facetious, I know, but I started the title of the show today. I built this network with my bare hands. That's what I started the title of the show today. Because let me tell you, if you knew my story, you would see and understand that I have to tell you these nuggets before I die. I don't have a lot of time to play games. I don't have a lot of time to beg you to follow me on Twitter and plead with you to follow me on Facebook. I don't have a lot of time to ask you to send me an email and tell me what you think. I already know bad to the bone and bone to the bad. Why? Because I've been there, and I'm you in all reality. I cannot no longer, because of my church background and because of my religious training, separate myself from Scripture. Separate myself from the reality of those who walk with me every single day. To act like that I'm something and someone different, because I am just as bad and wrong and just as illogical and radical. I am all that they said that I was when I was being accused and more. But there's a part of me that's growing and coming and pushing up that they never even thought to adore. There's a part of me that I can't even recognize, because that's what change is. Change is a surprise. I didn't know you had that in you. That's what change is. So don't even mind being accused of stuff. I used to be all fretting, worrying about being accused. Let them accuse you. That's a good sign. They see some good inside of you. And so to bring you down, to keep you from growing from the inside out, send you back to, the traditional pattern of growing from the outside in and faking it, being fictitious, superstitious. You know what I'm saying? Suspicious. I'm just saying, pretentious. So everything is going wrong. Now what? What now? Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Looking to you, I am the common denominator. If there's anything that needs to be changed, let me step up to the plate and change it now. If there's anything that needs to be said differently, let me step up to the plate and say it differently now. If there's any responsibility that needs to be taken, let me step up to the plate and take the responsibility now. If there's anything that I've left out of the lie that I told, then let me turn around and turn the lie inside out, tell the truth, and then repent about the lie that I just told, and take responsibility for the consequences of the lie that I told, and not even regret telling the truth, because I know now truth has to have a pattern of it being told, that people may again trust me, and I will have credibility. So I will not whine about the fact that people can't trust me because I told a lie. I will step up and be who I am supposed to be who I am becoming. And even though things are not going my way, in all reality they are. Because when things are going wrong, they're really going right. Because I know that I'm looking really deep into my life, whereas before when they were going right, I was not looking into me. And then things were going right, I wasn't free. Because I had everybody fooled that everything around me was A-okay until everything started going wrong. And then I had to take a pause out of that day to look at me. What's wrong with this picture? What's wrong with this picture? It's me, it's me, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Take a break, be back. Think about everything is going wrong. What now? You think about that in the respect of being a parent with your kids. The kids is running off, having tantrums, doing what they want, having returned the car, having come home in time. You know what I'm saying? Blowing up your long distance bill. If they do that anymore, I don't even think they do that anymore. Everybody gets long distance for free, I think. But the issue is everything is going wrong because everything that I tried to get my child to do, he won't do it. You know what? The fact of the matter is that even that child is off a chip off the old block. You as a parent, as a parent, we weren't always perfect. We need to cut them some slack. And sometimes I have said, and I have said this, I have practiced this. OBM, opposite behavior modification. Okay, where I would normally fuss, okay, now I'm not going to fuss. I'm mad as hell, but I'm not going to fuss. And I'm not going to reveal how mad I really am because you know what? I'm going to give that child a break. And I'm going to let that child know, you know what? I'm going to show you some unconditional love. I'm going to love you even though you didn't bring my car back. I'm going to love you even though you put my car on E. I'm just going to release. I'm not going to try to hold it tight. I'm not going to try to make it right. I'm just going to let you go on your way because I realize and understand that when I was your age, I was not perfect. And I am the common denominator in this situation. And I want to send a vibe out to my children. I want you to send a vibe out to your children that you know what? If you mess up, if you do wrong, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. No, it may not be okay legally. It may not be okay morally. But with me, I'm your mother. I'm your father. I'm your brother. I'm your sister. I'm your uncle. I'm your auntie. I'm your grandmother. I'm just gonna love you. I'm just gonna love you. I'm just gonna love you. You're not doing what I asked, but I'm gonna love you. You're not doing the way I asked you, but I'm gonna love you. You're not stepping in the direction that I want you, but I'm gonna love you though. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna send the vibe of love, unconditional love. Because I know, I've been there. I sympathize, I empathize. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be caught up emotionally, to be caught up, to not know, to not have time on your side, maturity, not have it, no reasoning, to be mad, to be angry. When we start showing that kind of understanding, that kind of love, people gonna break down. People see as long as you're trying to control the situation will never grow. But when you release the control, then the growth will come in the situation. You know why? Because you stepped out of the situation consciously and stepped back into your conscious self. You step back into your spirit and check you. Because who died and left you to be God? Who died and left me to be God? barely can fix ourselves, and we need help with that. We need a team to fix us. And now all of a sudden we think that with one uttered word, with a continuous utter and a mutter, with a continuous demand and the cry and the scream and all of these things, that we can move people to action, to change, to grow, to mature. And it doesn't happen that way. It just don't happen that way. It's a maturation of integrity from the personal who is in authority. And if the person in authority is not watching themselves and true from the inside out, guess what? You're going to have even more chaos. But at the end of the day, even if it wasn't more chaos, unconditional love is just not enough to go around. So what? Everything looks like it's wrong. So what? You're going to be okay. It's just that moment of panic that you're feeling, the fear, the trepidation of things that will never even happen. You're going to make it. It's going to be all right. This is what I tell myself to keep from going crazy. Write that song. Put them beats together. Write that book. Back off. You had an inclination, you had an intuition to back off of church. Church can rock you to sleep. Church can take you into a, oh my goodness gracious. Don't even get me started on that. Back off. Go hiking. Go camping. Take your husband somewhere. Go for a drive. Do something you've never done before. Go someplace you've never gone before. Not talking about a whole bunch of money. Not talking about nothing but a one-tank trip. Take your child and do something that they didn't deserve. I need some help, and I'm not talking about spoiling them either. Spoiling your child is the worst thing you could ever do for your child, by the way. Everything going wrong, take a second look at you. Take a second look at me. What are my priorities? How am I living my life? Everything going wrong. Now what? Look back inside. Count your change. If everything looks wrong, if everything seems like it's going wrong, count your change before you leave the counter. You came in and you purchased cheap. You purchase lies. You purchase desires innate at best. You purchased all kinds of fantasies. Fantasies wasn't on sale, and lies weren't either. And when you got your change back, you was like, okay, but I thought I gave you... See, we double dip too. I'm just gonna be honest. We double dip too much. We double dip. Listen, the thought may be in your head, but don't go do some of that stuff that you keep thinking about, because it's gonna make the situation worse. You might as well just sober up, sit up, and stop imagining, well, if I go do this, it'll make it better. No, that's gonna make it worse. The everything going wrong first is a cognitive, logical issue. It's not necessarily reality yet. It's only until you play into that panic mode, to that fear mode. When you play into that mode, then the fear, the trepidation, the doubt. Now, look, you might have put a lot of bad seeds in the ground, too. You know, you got to count. That's why I say, when you look at you, for real. I mean, you playing games, or you looking at yourself? Or am I looking at me, or am I going to play games? I'm the common denominator. You know what I'm saying? I got tired of blaming other people because my finger got tired. I got to get out of here. My finger got tired of pointing. Oh, man, you shouldn't have did me wrong, man. No, dude, My finger got tired. You see what I'm saying? DJ, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. My finger got tired, man. My finger got tired, bro. It really did. As long as you pointing at somebody else, you know what I'm saying? You think that's gonna fix it? Heck to the end on no. Pointing at somebody else, blaming them, and I mean the stories go deep now. You don't know what they did. You don't know what they said. Who are they to have it? Listen, I'm with you. At the end of the day, you can't change them. You can only change you, and you need help doing that. I need help changing me. So if it's going wrong, I'm going to look inside. And I'm going to find a way to make it right through making me right. And sometimes you just need to leave it alone and say, you know what, I'll come back at it tomorrow. Well, that's enough for today. So everything is going wrong. Now what? What now? Still keep believing. Believe in you, and that the divine intervention through the power of God is straightening you out, and you're learning lessons every day. Until next time, take care of yourself.